Ah, bam. We are live. It looks like we're live on both TikTok and YouTube. All right, we're moving along. We will be ready to roll here in just a minute. You know, it's interesting. Sometimes you get set up. Sometimes when I want to go live, it buffers and buffers and buffers. And then sometimes it just loads up right away. You just don't know sometimes. 1 minute. All right. So it looks like we've got everybody set up. So today's a good one. Let me share the screen here. This is the old surprise, surprise. You thought you were going to lose the deal because of price. And it's not price. Very rarely is it price. As much as you want to believe it's price, very rarely is that ever the case. So, T. Smith, I don't really know who you are, and I don't think you know what channel you're on, brother. We're here to talk about remodeling. All right. So, for those of you on TikTok, welcome. You're unfortunately not able to see the screen that's over on the YouTube, and that's okay. It'll all work out. So, over for those of you on YouTube, you can see that often we think that the homeowner wants somebody cheaper, and we couldn't be more wrong. So, I will share and break that down for you now. Those of you on TikTok, if you have any legitimate remodeling type questions, you feel free to put them in the comments. If you agree, disagree with what I'm saying for the next like 12 minutes, feel free to comment on that as well. But we're going to just be talking about remodeling and how you can make more money if that's what you're looking for with less problems. All right, let me get my screen up. So today is day 29, right? So I go live here every day. And you got to understand, you're not just selling remodeling, you're actually selling to what they call the buyer driver. You got to understand what drives the homeowner. Okay. It's the thing that's behind the remodel. So, yeah, they might tell you that they want some new cabinets, but that's not really what's happening behind the scenes, right? Many of you've heard that one story I share where we landed a deal. We were one of the more expensive ones, of course, but we landed the deal because we could guarantee a date, and the homeowner wanted that kitchen done more than anything for their daughter's graduation party. See what I'm saying? I mean, sure, it had over 100 cabinet doors because we had to redo them all. That's a story for another time. But that's the thing. The reason they chose us was because they were guaranteed, they felt comfortable and safe that we were going to be the only contractor that was going to be able to turn that kitchen around in 6 weeks, guaranteed. Okay. So you got to realize that you have to look at what's your competitive advantage and what's most important to the homeowner. All right. All right. Here we go. So you'll want to understand, we talk about it a lot here, ARI. ARI is called Applied Relational Intelligence. And that is the concept that I created years ago because I had to figure out a way to connect with homeowners. And all the research I was doing, I came up with my own framework to make it work. It's called ARI. So when you hear that, that's what it is. It's how you connect with somebody: homeowner, spouse, employee, vendors, you name it, subcontractors. All right. So look, remodelers, here's what happens. We love to talk about the scope, the materials, the design, but most clients they don't hire you just for new stuff. They hire you because there's something inside that like is frustrating them. It hurts them. They have a dream. Like this house isn't living to their expectations. That's why you're there. Okay. Something needs to change in the way they see their house. Now, sure, there's some of you that do emergency repairs for plumbing, and yeah, that's different. But I'm talking when someone hires you to come in and remodel their kitchen, that's because their current kitchen doesn't make them feel good. Okay. And we call that the buyer driver. It's the internal motivator. It's what actually powers the homeowner to choose who they're going to remodel. It's how they make their decision. You need to know this. So until you understand the driver, you're just guessing. You're thinking it's price. You're thinking it was your charming personality, right? Because you're not sure actually how you close some of those deals sometimes. It's because you connected. You may not even be aware of it. So logic doesn't sell. Hear me on this. It will drive you crazy. If you're a logic person, it doesn't work. People do not work off of the majority. There are some other logic people out there. They're your people, believe me. Most people, emotions. And that's why they do irrational, crazy things, right? Because they're emotional. They can't get otherwise. But you just look at their history of decision making, their pattern, their process, it's emotional. Surface. So this is surface level logic, right? They want a bigger bathroom. Reality, they want to stop feeling cramped. They're embarrassed by it, right? Or they feel disrespected in their own home because it's such a shitty bathroom. They'll justify with logic, but they only buy when you speak to that driver and control. That's what really drives people. So it's important that you understand that identity, family legacy. A lot of people, I'm going to tell you right now, you watch many a grown person are embarrassed when their parents come to town and they have to make that house look good or they're going to have some big family reunion. It's pride, it's ego. Hey, I'm not here to judge it. I'm saying you need to understand it when you're out trying to pitch your process. Okay? That's what's driving the homeowner's decision. It's not price for the most part. All right? You got to understand that there's like these internal finish lines that your client's chasing. You just happen to sell construction, and that's getting them there so that they feel good. At the end of the day, you're delivering happiness. Okay? You're delivering a feeling. It just so it comes in the form of you driving a truck and remodeling their kitchen. But they want to feel good when they're cooking that meal or ordering out or whatever they're doing in their kitchen. It's about them wanting to feel good. That's why they're doing it. So there are 6 core buyer drivers that you should be aware of. It's only going to help. I've learned these and I'm just speaking from personal experience. Take it or leave it. There's status, right? That's the person who has to impress and feel proud. They're embarrassed most often. That's the person who has to have the latest and greatest in the neighborhood. So if you ever come across like developments that are fairly new, like maybe 10 years old, there's always that one house that has the greatest everything. If you happen to be bidding for a project in that house, price is not the issue. You need to let that cat know that everything you do is going to be latest and greatest. They're going to have the biggest, the best. It's going to be their house that everybody else wants to come party at. That's how you land the job with the person who's driven by status. And you see it all the time. They have to have the fanciest of everything. Their car, all the options, right? When they bought the house, they had to get the house that had all the options. They got the bump out. They got the finished basement, okay? They got the extra lights in the dormers, you name it. They went for it. Okay, you have the other type of buyer driver, and that's the person who has to have the control, right? It's a home that works for them. They they can't stand chaos or disorder. So when you talk about the construction process, you want to frame it in a way that you're very neat, organized. Everything's going to be stacked. All the materials are going to be stored in one spot. No, the guys aren't going to be all over the house. We're going to work in a neat and orderly fashion, one area at a time. If you don't, that control person's going to go with somebody else. You're going to think it was your price. It's not. It's because they feared that you were going to cause them too much chaos. So hear that. There's another person. They desire all kinds of comfort. Their home is their sanctuary. You'll see lots of like pillows and blankets and like soft, fuzzy furniture, probably even some stuffed animals, grown adults, right? These people cherish calm, ease, and simplicity. The last thing you want to do is overwhelm them with a bunch of decisions. You let them know, Mr. and Miss Smith, we're going to take care of all the details. We have a process. I'll guide you through it. We'll go at your pace, right? That's how you want to position your process for that person that seeks comfort all the time. They're going to be a little bit more laid back type of a person. Okay, then you have the person that their house is their identity, right? It's an expression of themselves. They're going to be the ones that ask you for some weird crap, and that's fine. Let them. Let their freak flag fly, as they say, and just build it for them. Don't judge it. Whatever. Who cares? Build whatever they want. Help them have the house that best identifies for them. They're going to ask you for some weird stuff that you probably never done, stuff that you may never want to do again. Way, if you embrace their weirdness and don't judge them, you've got a client for life. And you'll catch yourself. I struggled with this person initially because I thought they were lunatics. I was like, this makes no sense what you're trying to have me do here. I've never done it that way, right? Because I'm more of a logic thinker by nature. So when I would come across that type of person, I struggled with them for years. And then finally I got one of them and I understood. It just something about what he said to me, it clicked. And that guy turned around and hired me for like 10 more projects. Crazy. And I had been missing out on those customers for years because I thought they were just freaks. Goes to show you, you don't know until you grow. Belonging. This one's a big one. So we work a lot with families. So I look for dual income clients a lot, single family homes, nice neighborhoods, usually in good school districts. Sometimes extended family lives there, but there's a sense of belonging, right? The heart of the house, that concept, they just the home has to be the place and the home has to be perfect so that everybody can just feel at ease and relax, right? These people love being at home. They do a lot of their activities around the house, very family oriented. Okay. So when you're working with clients like that, you'll stress how your project, Cam, what are you asking me? How often are you collecting? I can't read your whole question. Give me 1 second. Hey, Cam, look, this is for like grown up adults. So then there's security. You have product that's not fully tested, hasn't been on the market for a while. You're not sure how its long-term results are going to be. This is why people still have pressure treated decks built, because there's some people that just trust it. It's worked for 30 years. They're going to go with the pressure treated. They don't want the composite. Okay. And who cares? Like, you should sell and help the client with what they want, what they're going to feel good about. At the end of the day, you're just building the thing. So that would be my suggestion to you with these people is help them understand, go with something that's more traditional, tried and true. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, how do we like even uncover this stuff? That's the discipline. This is what takes your remodeling to another level. All right. You don't have to do it at all. You'll just be wondering often why you're not getting certain jobs that you thought you should have. This is where you apply that applied relational intelligence. See, you're not just asking surface questions, you're listening between the lines for cues. If you've heard me talk about, this is where we start playing chess when the rest of the guys out there are just playing checkers. So instead of this, so what are you hoping to do with the space? You're going to ask more along these lines. Hey, what's going on in your world right now, your life? What made you, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, decide that right now is the right time to remodel? Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, when you picture this project being completed, what do you want to feel when you walk into the space, this kitchen, this basement, when you walk out onto the deck? What are you anticipating that happening? If Mr. and Miss Smith, if we get this project done right, what's that going to change for you? Now, to some of you, these seem like off the wall questions. I hear it. Believe me, I struggled with this myself. But this is how a lot of homeowners that are buying remodeling think. You have to learn to connect with them. Okay. I'm not saying it's going to be comfortable when you do it the first few times. You're going to be thinking you're out in left field asking these questions. You're doing it for the homeowner so that you can understand them a little bit better. Uh, You don't have to. I'm just saying it works. So you mirror back their response in their buyer driver language. For example, Mr. Miss Smith, sounds like this isn't just about the layout, it's about creating a space that feels peaceful again. Is that correct? Do you see what I'm doing? I'm using their words and circling it back. When they know that I understand and get them, like we're like brothers in arms. There's no way they're hiring anyone else. I've watched this happen 1,000 times. I literally moved from being across the table to sitting alongside of them. They're like we're pals now. And we put the remodel as the problem out in front of us and we solve it together. That's what happens when you connect with the homeowner. That's applied relational intelligence, and that's how it works. Um, so I've already given you guys the 12 homeowner like archetypes, right? That was in one of our previous videos. So each archetype has what's called a buyer driver. It's something that dominates the way that they make buying decisions. So you'll want to start learning these and uncovering them so that when you meet with a homeowner, you're putting them on a chart. You're like, wait a minute, what makes this person tick? And when you can match their archetype with their buyer driver, you can tailor your pitch. That's why you ask all the questions up front. You say very little in the beginning. You're gathering data, you're asking questions, and you're processing it. It's like you have Tony Stark's like computer in the back of your head, right? As you're processing all the answers to all their questions. So you might say something like this to a homeowner. Mr. and Miss Smith, for someone like you who's constantly hosting events and parties, I get it. The goal isn't just like new countertops. It's creating that wow feeling when your friends, your coworkers, your committee people, when they walk through that front door, you want them to their mouths to open and then just go, "Damn, look at that kitchen." Is that what you're saying? And when they shake their head and go, "Absolutely." You can high five them because you two have connected now. You get it. So now you understand that your focus is on making that kitchen pop for them, right? Give them that over the top wow feeling. Not saying that's for every homeowner, that's for this buyer driver. All right. So remember, you stop selling features often and you're going to start selling the transformation. So instead of saying to somebody, like we like to talk in the weirdest crap, we'll say to people, well, we're going to add like 200 more square feet to this bathroom because we're going to do this freestanding tub and we're going to do this. Instead, you'll want to say to a homeowner, Miss Smith, you know how you've been talking to me about those hard days? Well, now when you come home, you're finally going to have that space where you could either start or end your day with calm and peace and not have any chaos. You can just get away from it all. That tub is going to be your sanctuary. Use words like imagine walking into this space at the end of a long day after you've settled, put everybody down. This is where your family will finally be able to sit around this nice island and watch you make grandma's, 100-year-old apple pie recipe at Thanksgiving. Maybe you're building a little sunroom addition. This becomes the room where you can be proud and show off your grandfather's medals and, that antique thing that they passed down to you over the last 3 generations. We're going to make a nice shelf right here. And the morning light's going to come in and it's just going to show that piece off so well. Right? You're connecting the dots between the remodel and the life upgrade. The thing that they see themselves that this remodel is going to give them. People just want things in life to make them feel better. We don't often need a new car or truck. We just buy it because it's going to make us feel better because we're tired of feeling like we're, beat up, run down, driving this 15-year-old thing. Does that make sense? Homeowners want the same thing with their house. So remember, when that client hesitates on price, it's not about the money. It's because that buyer driver hasn't clearly been tied to the project outcome. So, um, again, I get it, man. For a lot of you guys, it's like way too much here. I hear that. Believe me, it was uncomfortable for me for years. It's still at times a little bit like, woo, I don't know about all this. I am telling you right now, if there's a husband and a wife, most often that wife is going to, not all the time, but most of them are very emotional. And it's if you can connect to them on that emotional level, they're gonna love you. You're going to stick out, and then you'll be able to understand what they really want that remodel to be about. And money fades. So you reframe it like this: Mr. Miss Smith, I know it's an investment, but this isn't just about building something, it's about fixing something. See, you told me you wanted to stop feeling frustrated in your home. This, the project that we're proposing, that solves it. And that's that ARI insight. You make the connection between their internal discomfort all up in here, and it's part of your external solution. All right. So that's pretty much what I have for you. Again, you can, for those of you still trying to figure this out, you use AI to help you get some prompts so you can get some practice. You're going to want to start writing down and looking for ways to determine. The best thing I can say to you is when you talk with a homeowner over the phone, that initial phone call, you ask them, have you made purchases like this before? Have you done any other remodeling projects? Have you made a large purchase recently? Have you bought a car, an investment? Have you bought like a second home? What was the most expensive thing you bought in the last 5 years? How did you go about making, what is it how did you make that decision? What was the process like for you? Did it take you 3 years? Did you decide in 3 minutes? You want to know these things about your people so you understand what drives them, okay? It's not that one person is better or worse than another. It's that you naturally have your way, and you will by default relate to another person who's similar very easily, but yet all the people that are different you'll struggle with. So what you're trying to do is when you uncover how they like to buy and how they do make purchasing decisions, now you can shift and you can focus on helping them feel the best about the way they do it, because it's not the way you would do it by default, and it's not the way your last 7 customers did it. So But yeah, so you'll use AI, it'll create a 5-question script. It uncovers the client's dominant buyer driver, whether it's status, comfort, control, identity, safety, or belonging. You do that during your discovery call. And then you'll generate like a 3-sentence starter that you can use to mirror their emotions back with confidence. So those are the kind of things we can help you with. All right. That's all I got. This is how you go from guessing and really knowing. You go from pitching features to closing transformations, right? You go from hoping they're going to say yes to helping them feel understood by you. And that is applied relational intelligence. And this is how professionals sell remodeling. That's all I got for you tonight. If anybody has any questions, fire away. I know it's a lot. It's a little heavy for some people. I get it. But if you do this enough, you'll figure it out. You'll start it. It shows itself. It reveals itself to you. And if you look back over your last like 10 clients, you'll start seeing that there were certain commonalities between this client and that client, right? The clients who moved the quickest, you'll notice commonalities in their personality style. The ones that took forever, right? And you'll start being able to tie. You do this in this career long enough, you meet with enough homeowners, you'll start recognizing commonalities between their employment, the stock, what kind of career that they have, and then you can often tell what kind of buying decision maker that they're going to be. It sounds crazy, but you'd be shocked, literally shocked. Because personalities types, people that have a certain personality style tend to like certain jobs, right? And that all ties into how they make purchasing decisions, especially large ones like remodeling. Now, look, I'm not talking about like painting a room for $750. Sure, there's some of that. I'm talking about when you're sitting down with someone talking to them about like a $50,000, $250,000 remodel. So, unless they have like a $12 million house, then it's, you're talking about the $2 million remodel. Everything's relative. All right, that's all I've got for you guys. Any questions? Ba, 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 da. See, Knowles Remodeling, you've been in here before. Cam, you look like you bounced. You must have been some little kid punk. T. Smith, you jumped, you bounced. You weren't in the right group. But yeah, if I can help you with anything, what kind of remodeling do you do? Good stuff. Oh, you're welcome. What kind of remodeling do you do? What's your niche and what's your specialty? Listen, I hear you. Yes, sir. Do you do kitchens? Do you do baths, siding, like what, roofing? What do you do? Bathrooms. All right, so you're a detail guy. Bathrooms are complicated. You got to know what you're doing. I think we mostly. Yeah. Yeah, bathrooms is a really good niche. Yeah, so you get to talk to homeowners about, you know, that feeling that they get, like how because they're starting their day, ending their day in there. Yes, from the islands. You mentioned that to me before. I'll have to come across your website one day. I'd be curious to see what some of your projects look like. You'll probably so I had a designer for a while. He loved going to the islands. Yeah, every day. Yeah, every day I come on and do live every day. I had this designer that loved to travel to all the resorts in the islands, and he would come up with some amazing bathrooms for us. We did many where we would put plantation style shutters and have so that you could open up from the master bedroom and see right into the master bathroom, and there would be like that's where we'd put like one of those soaking jacuzzi style tubs and interesting ideas like that came up a lot. It was very non-traditional, right? This guy would bring in a lot of really nice ideas, help homeowners. What we've started finding was a lot of homeowners wanted the feel of like they're being on vacation when they were at home. So it really started transforming our bathroom remodeling game when we did that. Yeah, possibly. So, but um, all right. Well, I uh I will stay on probably one more minute to hit half hour here. Otherwise, I mean, if you have any questions, let me know. Um, there's anything I can help you answer. Any objections you come across? So I'm on the East Coast in Maryland. Like right now, I'm in like the Maryland area. I spent some time Virginia, DC, Florida. So yeah, yeah, the weather sucks here. It really does. It's a very competitive environment because of the economy. Like we're being with us being so close to the government, like the federal government. Um, it's a killer place to get like for that kind of work. Like the competition and stuff and the volume that you can do in this area as a like a hub, let's call it. But yeah, the weather sucks. That is absolutely correct. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. All right, I'm gonna stop the screen share over here. But yeah, all right, guys. So that's gonna be it for tonight. I appreciate C Knowles. I appreciate you being here. If anybody else has any questions, awesome. At any time, reach out. And yeah, if you follow the account, you'll get a notification whenever I go live. I got most of them are going to be a little bit earlier. Last couple days, I've had a lot happening, so these lives end up coming in late at night. I need to make sure I have really good internet connection to do the live, so I usually wait till I get back to the office or house to do that. Um, all right. Anyway, so appreciate you, C. Knowles. I appreciate you commenting, and thank you for being here. And again, if I ever can be of any assistance, you let me know. And I'll have to, you'll have to let me know at some point. You send me a message. Let me know what your website is. I'd like to check out some of your work. All right. You guys have a great night, and we'll be back again. Thank you, sir. Have a good one.